Welcome everyone, my name is Bill from CruiseHabit.com and this is the third edition of CruiseHabit Weekly Cruise News. Be sure to check us out, follow us on social media, Twitter, Periscope, Instagram, Facebook, on YouTube where you might be watching this now. We're going to go through the this week's cruise news, just quickly cover some things that have happened over the last 7 days in the world of cruising. And you might notice if you're watching this on YouTube, if you're watching a replay, that I'm answering some questions maybe as we go along. If you want to take part in this and you want to be an active participant in the weekly news, be sure to follow us on Periscope. You can find us at CruiseHabit on Periscope. You'll be alerted every time we go live, either for these broadcasts or when we do our weekly sail away videos from Port Everglades or Port of Miami, or live from ships at sea. And actually, we're going to have an upcoming announcement about that soon. So without further ado, we'll get right into what's going on in this week of cruising. First stories we're going to cover all about Cuba. It's been a popular topic for the last several weeks, and it continues. We got some more announcements that came along. The first from Regent Seven Seas. They finally offered up some details about their itinerary coming up. In April of 2017, Seven Seas Mariner will embark on 2 round-trip sailings from Miami with overnight stays in Havana. They'll also stop in Costa Maya, Mexico, and Harvest Caye, which is NCL's private resort, and we'll definitely be talking more about Harvest Caye in the future here on the site. Next, Carnival Cruise Line, also Cuba, expects approval of additional brands for Cuba sailings. So essentially, if you remember right, Fathom said that they were not going to be sailing anymore starting in the summer, which is a Carnival Cruise Line brand. And that has to do with how long their approval lasts and the profitability of running Fathom, a one-ship cruise line. Arnold Donald, the Carnival CEO, said he looks forward to approval of additional brands sailing to Cuba. We have every expectation that one or more of our brands will be approved from the June time period on, Donald said. We're going to go with larger brands and larger ships to Cuba. So not too surprising that they want more tonnage, that they want more berths, more passengers going to Cuba, but it seems they're pretty confident. Again, that should transition nicely away from Fathom no longer going. Donald also noted that Cuba is a long-term plan. You can barely find the numbers on Carnival's financials. In other words, Fathom, while they've been commanding really high prices for those Cuba sailings, the bottom line is it's still a small ship. They're not running that many passengers, and it's an expensive operation. So hopefully for Carnival, some changes there and some more things coming up for Cuba for them. In addition, Cuba, NCL they started selling dates for the NCL Sky, for the Norwegian Sky. So the Sky has been running for quite some time now. Sailings, 3 and 4 night sailings to the Bahamas and to the NCL's private island, Great Stirrup Cay. It's been very successful, been low price, a lot of last minute, a lot of locals. Also, the fares include alcohol. Well, there's going to be several sailings, May 1st, 8th, 15th, 22nd, and 29th that are going to Cuba. These 4-night sailings have overnight stays in Havana. Fares start at $6.99, which is a little higher than we saw from the Empress Cuba sailings. However, they include unlimited alcohol beverages, as the Sky had been doing with their Bahamas sailing. So I fully expect those to fill up and be very popular. No reason why they wouldn't be. Exciting now that we're getting more and more information about these Cuba sailings. Next up, Virgin Voyages. You know, you guys know I like talking about them. I'm really excited for this brand coming into fruition. It used to be called, what they call it originally, Virgin Cruise Lines, or they changed up the name a few months ago when they made some announcements and with much fanfare renamed it Virgin Voyages. So they finalized a $2 billion contract with Fincantieri, a major shipyard that some of you have probably heard of, for their builds. They had a letter of intent previously, but this is them actually finalizing the contract saying, we are spending $2 billion with you guys to build these ships. They're not going to be large ships. The renderings do look very cool, Hunt. Very cool. Now, granted, those are just renderings largely that have leaked. Virgin hasn't even put a whole lot out there, but I don't see why they would be that they'd be purely speculation. They must have come from somewhere, I would think. Maybe not. Who knows? So the vessels will be 110,000 gross tons, 912 by 125 feet, carrying 2,800 passengers and 1,100 crew. Fincantieri promises unique designs. The ships that come out of Fincantieri tend to have a certain look. But I think we can expect something really different out of the Virgin Voyages ships. And they did point out, as was mentioned during a press conference a few months ago, that they'll have a number of energy-saving features, including the ability to recapture energy from heat loss on the diesel engines. So that could be a big thing in terms of both PR, frankly, and also, hey, these ships do have an environmental impact, so it's neat to see that different lines and different shipyards are taking different approaches to reducing that. Something we should all be all for. No reason not to be excited about that. Also, in the world of new builds and signing contracts with shipyards, MSC, who has some of you guys have seen their new builds out there that they're proposing. They look incredible as well. Very progressive designs. And I never can say this right, Meraviglia class vessels. Those are 167,000 gross tons, 2,250 staterooms. Well, the contract's already out there. Those ships are already due out. They have schedules. They're I believe the Bellissima and then the Meraviglia. Well, now they've signed a contract. MSC has signed a contract for Meraviglia Plus class vessels. So following a relatively new tradition, Norwegian's done this. We heard mention from Royal Caribbean of Quantum Plus a couple weeks ago. Basically, what seems to indicate a very similar but slightly scaled up version. So 177,000 gross tons instead of 167,000 gross tons. 1,000 gross tons, and then an additional 200 staterooms. These ships are going to be due out October of 2019 and September of 2020. This is all part of a massive expansion plan on the part of MSC. They're spending $10.2 billion to expand their fleet. Total of 11 new ships coming online by 2026. They're calling them all-weather ships, so they can really travel the world and still accommodate passengers. So, you see that in some ships that are purpose-built for, let's say, Alaska versus the Caribbean. There's different designs there. They're saying these ships, all-weather, they're going to have outdoor spaces, indoor spaces that will work for any itinerary. They're also looking, let's see, they're looking at the possibility of some much larger vessels as well. Oasis class and Alaska, Kayla says, probably not, but who knows? These ships are going to have an interior promenade, 1,200 feet almost, and with LED sky screens stretching much of the length of that, very Vegas-esque kind of. And then an aft dining and entertainment venue featuring Cirque du Soleil. So there's all sorts of stuff coming on these new MSC ships. Again, $10.2 billion for new builds by 2026. Pretty ambitious, but no reason to not be excited about that. Next up, and more new build information, Carnival Vista class has really been very popular with both the press and guests as well. And originally P&O was slated to get a Vista class ship. Things have changed, however. This would have been pretty exciting for P&O to get a new build. P&O is owned by Carnival Corporation and focuses largely on the Australian market, which we know is blowing up. So to be honest, I was a little bit surprised with the popularity of the Australian market lately. I was surprised to see that they were pulling this new build. Instead, P&O will be getting let's see, I thought I had it here. P&O is going to be getting, I believe, the Splendor instead. Yeah, they'll get the Splendor, which is a 2008 build, instead of a new Vista class. But that does mean that Carnival, the Carnival brand, will be getting a third Vista class ship in 2019. The Carnival Horizon scheduled for 2018 delivery. Right now, the Vista's already out there, and then the third Vista class ship has not been named yet. These ships really do look impressive. If I was going to book a Carnival sailing right now, you can bet I'd want to give that a shot. They really have a lot to offer. They're about 133,000 gross tons, not huge, but the amenities are Skyride, pedal, where you can pedal around. You pedal a thing. You can see the graphic on the bottom of your screen a moment ago. That goes all around the circumference of the ship and even over the water a little bit. These ships have the first IMAX at sea. They have the Red Frog Pub, which is an onboard brewery, and they have some really unique staterooms, including Havana Cabana cabins, which include large outdoor lounging space with hammocks, and it goes out to a common area. Very cool stuff there. And the idea that there are going to be 3 of these vessels out there, I'm really excited, and it will almost certainly lead me to book one of them. Hopefully once there are 2 of them out there, bring prices down a little bit. That's what I'm always thinking about. Got to get as many cruises in as possible. In fact, I have another cruise coming up. There we go. Took me a second to get it up on the screen. So we're going to be, again, live tweeting, periscoping, Instagramming, all of the things social media from Independence of the Seas. January 5th. That's just in, I think, 10 days. And I believe a couple of you guys are going to be there with me. Mugai says he was just on Vista, was pretty good, but a few more people than he cared for. The pub was great. Yeah, it is, for the number of amenities and passengers, it is not a massive build. So I'm interested, Mugai. We'll talk later, maybe during a subsequent Periscope. I'd love to get your feedback. Send me an email. If anyone has feedback on any of these items, whether it's the new builds we've talked about, or if you have something that you'd like me to talk about on these broadcasts or anything else, you can always send me an email, bill@cruisehabit.com. You can reach out on Twitter, Periscope, Facebook, all of those things. Would love to hear from you, sincerely. And I'll definitely be hearing from you guys, and we'll be chatting when we are on the Independence in just 10 days, heading out to Cozumel on a 4-night sailing. It's the exact same sailing that we were on over Thanksgiving, but it was such a great time, and this deal was just so good. We really enjoyed the Independence, the service on Independence. I got to tell you guys, the Champagne Bar on Independence of the Seas, I think I spoke a little bit about it on one of the Royal Caribbean blog podcasts recently. The service on that ship was just top notch. So enjoying the idea that we'll be able to get back to them, back to the Champagne Bar. Stefan and his team did a really great job, took great care of us. And by the way, Champagne Bar on that ship, it's the R Bar. It's the same thing. They're just, I kept saying they're a coffee stain away from having to reupholster and turning it into an R Bar. So I am very lucky, Alex, and I believe it was Nick who said that, somebody else. I am a very lucky guy. So looking forward to that. In addition, sorry, too many keyboards over here. In addition, be sure to follow us on Periscope, not just for these broadcasts, but also for our weekly broadcasts. When we join you for sailaways from either Port Everglades or Port of Miami, follow along at CruiseHabit. You'll be alerted anytime I go live on Periscope, including on January 5th from Independence of the Seas. We might, maybe, not sure. We might head out to Port Miami in just a little bit. Depends on how I'm feeling, to be honest with you. But hoping to. There's a couple ships sailing out of Port Miami today. A lot of ships with altered itineraries because of the holiday season, where usually they'd be leaving on maybe a Saturday or a Sunday, and instead are coming and or going on Monday. So hope everyone's had a phenomenal holiday season. Hopefully I'll see you in a few hours from Port Miami. If not, we'll of course be broadcasting next week. We've got more content for you on CruiseHabit.com. In fact, just last night, published an additional article in the First Time Cruiser series talking about why you should use a travel agent. It's a common question I see on the internet. It's a common question I get, and I've got a lot to say about it. Would love your feedback, so check out CruiseHabit.com. It's the article right up there at top. And in just the next hour or two, we'll be posting more content from @CruiseHabitRick. That's @CruiseHabitRic. He was live vlogging from Celebrity Reflection just a couple weeks ago, and he's sharing an interview that he conducted with the hotel manager, and I believe her title is Activities Coordinator, over there on Celebrity Reflection. Shared some great insights into their careers and what it's like running that amazing vessel. So be sure to check that out when that comes up in just the next couple hours as well. You can find all that and more at CruiseHabit.com. While you're there, do me a favor, check out our friends excuse me, check out our friends. You can click Friends of Cruise Habit up there at the top of the site, and you can and that'll send you to RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com, which is the best site for everything Royal Caribbean. Matt at the RCL blog, he does a great job over there, and you can find my live blog from Independence of the Seas just a few weeks ago over Thanksgiving. So if you want to get a preview of what my Independence of the Seas trip will be like in just 10 days, you can find it at RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. Also, rcperiscopers.live. Kat and others do a great job of keeping track who's periscoping from what ships so that you can live vicariously through their cruises. That's a great time. As well as touringplans.com, which has a little bit of information on Disney Cruise Line, but also great information about theme parks. Highly encourage you to check them out as well. For us, follow us on social media. Hey, I got it right this time. Periscope, Twitter, and Facebook. Also, Instagram's not on that graphic, but everything, just search at Cruise Habit. Look forward to talking to you guys again real soon. And like I said, maybe even in just a couple hours. Reach out with questions on social media or email bill@cruisehabit.com. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And look forward to seeing you guys all very soon.